So here's a pretty big album, folks. This is Slipknot's Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses. Now, this came out in 2004, and, nu metal was kind of waiting at this point, but really Slipknot was, building steam. They really always managed to get hit singles off of each of their projects. And, I think in some respects, Slipknot's 1999 album is one of those complete albums. And even, I think that, but at the same time, it's, I have listened to the project and I want to give it a 10, but I do not like every single song. But with this one, it's about the same. Slipknot definitely has the songs, but there are still songs on there that are not as, it wasn't as bewildering as Limp Bizkit or in some cases Korn. But that does not mean that they're lackluster. I don't want anyone thinking that they're not worth your time, because they definitely are. And this is one of the projects that would be wise to look at first, just because it has 4 songs that you could probably hear on radio stations, and one of them is one of their most known songs, so that's definitely a good thing. So with this project, after Iowa, they continued to go through it. It's pretty manic, and I'm thinking that, this is, I enjoy this because it's more of the groups that manage to excite you more. I mean, I feel like a lot of these folks cross over into alternative metal, and the problem with doing that is that you get so much steam built up, but then afterwards it kind of goes into like some sort of funk, and you're just, no one likes to just be broken off that way. So Slipknot doesn't do it. I would say out of 14 songs, that 8 out of 14 are worth checking out. They're just vicious guitars, and it's just going to get you up and out of your seat. And, as far as the rest of it's concerned, there are some songs that are worth your time. You know, like when I think of one of the songs, that another song that they're most known for is Wait and Bleed, but then Duality is another one. Both of these have a lot of attention, and so the singles would be the ones to go for first. But then don't forget to explore this album. So what I'm gonna say is that, the way that the songs are put together, the production of the project. Some of my favorites were Duality, Vermilion, Pulse of the Maggots, Before I Forget, and The Nameless. So all of these really nail it. And I'm going to say like a couple of the songs that I did not quite like Opium of the People. I still feel like these probably could work. So don't think my review is a bit more sensitive, just because I have a certain standard that I like to keep going when I review music. But, obviously, if you do not have the same standards, this music is going to appear a lot better. So just understand that, like, if you do not care that the verses are the same like I do, obviously this is going to work a lot better. I'm not saying that's the reason why I dislike the songs, but they did not grab my attention. And so what we have is, pretty dope album. So this happens to me all the time. In other words, like, really, I wind up liking, I give the album like a 6 out of 10, and then it winds up being like an 8.5 out of 10 2 months later, because I listened to it that much more. And it grows on me, and I think this album will do that. But there's not a lot to complain about. So the songs that you need to hear, I did like 8 out of 14, and those are 3-0, Duality, Welcome, Vermilion, Pulse of the Maggots, Before I Forget, The Nameless. Now, the song I was on the fence about was the virus of life, and I think for the most part, these should be pretty enjoyable. The singles are in there. I recommend looking them up as far as what songs were released to radio, and then find some extra ones that you're going to wind up liking. Now, there are more songs, of course. I think I didn't like the Prelude 3.0, but you're just gonna have to listen to it. I think for the most part they just go through it rather heavily. So that's what you're getting, is a lot of heaviness. Limp Bizkit does it more. They kind of venture into alternative metal, but I think it's just raw. That's the best way to describe it. So as long as you know that, you've got plenty to do. But then I understand the general thing. If you're not feeling raw and you just want some thought processing, it's kind of like, well, where do you go? Don't worry about that. Just go for different records. Obviously, if it is essential to you that you hear everything that is only popular, just make a playlist. That will completely negate any weaknesses of this album, especially if you put like 5, 6, or 7 songs off of this album on there. So there's playlists. But I'm gonna give this album a 7 out of 10 because I liked 8 out of 14. That's still more. That's still less than I wanted, but it's still better than a lot of stuff I've heard. So, and plus the singles really did it. So as far as the future, I think Slipknot will be coming back very soon. If not immediately soon, then still soon. The social score, which is how well it plays around you in a group of friends, I think that this is like an 8.5, just because there's so many songs that, 4 singles, anytime that happens, it's easy to recommend this because you don't have to just worry about the one song you guys like, or the 2 songs. So it's good, and they're kind of like the equivalent of like a Snoop Dogg or something like that, if you're into rap. So that's something to look forward to. Now, can it be topped? I think the answer is yes, but this is still a very sick project. Alright, subscribe for more fun. I give this album a 7 out of 10 and an 8.5 social.